Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day so far. So, I wanted to talk to you guys today about some thoughts that have been on my mind. So, a few months ago, I arrived at a friend's house to meet up and saw that she had some other friends gathered at her house. So, being the social butterfly that many of you guys know me to be, I began making my way around to each person to introduce myself and get to know a little bit about them. And when I got to the last person, we exchanged names and pleasantries, and afterwards she asked me, "So what's your medicine?" And I was like, "Do you mean as in pharmaceutical?" I think I'm at the wrong party, is what I was thinking in my mind. But she continued to look me in my eyes. And as she did so, I felt my soul begin to rise to the surface to answer that question. And before my brain could keep processing and continue freaking out, I heard my mouth blurt out, "I'm a spiritual healer." Now, I was a bit taken aback that I was even able to come up with that answer while still under the confusion of the random question she just asked me. And I know you're probably wondering, well, what's the big deal? I've heard you say you're a spiritual healer before. What's the problem? But this was probably the first time that it came directly from my soul and not from my brain in response to someone's question of my vocation. Meaning, are you not practicing law anymore? What are you doing now for money? It wasn't that type of question. This conversation with this woman that I'd never met before, well, more so my oddball knee-jerk response of blurting out what I did, just lingered with me for months. And I kept wondering, why did this perplex me so much? And after much thought, it finally occurred to me that it was the question, not my answer, that I was stuck on. What's your medicine? Medicine? As in a drug used for the treatment or prevention of disease? Or really, what you allow in your body to stop or prevent dis-ease? It was my first time hearing someone actually shift the focus away from simply what I was doing in my life to provide for my basic needs to asking me how I was using my life to prevent or treat dis-ease, i.e. lack of ease in the world. No wonder why my soul felt called to rise up and answer. And that's why my brain got confused. You see, our brains are reactive. If there's a problem in our body, our brain sends signals to alert us of the problem and then sets in motion a chain of events and solutions to fix the problem. Completely reactionary. But our souls are proactive, full of knowledge and experience that can prevent us from enduring dis-ease in this life, if only we remember to tap into this guidance from the beginning. So as I let my overly analytical brain play with the concept of the word medicine within this new framework, analogies just kept coming to me. For example, not all medications work for everyone. We all know that if you take something that was prescribed for someone else, you may have an allergic reaction or it just may not work. Similarly, your journey to healing will always be different from everyone else's. So you cannot compare yourself, the time it takes, the feelings that come up, or the outcome you'll get. Now, not all medicines work for all diseases. Tylenol may work for a headache, but not for cancer. In other words, you can't always rely on one thing or the same thing to prevent you from feeling dis-ease. Sometimes saying a simple prayer can do the trick. Other times, Spirit will send you on a timeout to go meditate and look within for the answer because it's been there all along. Now, not all medicines taste or feel good going down, but it's what is needed to heal the illness. Now, I know at some point we've all experienced the fact that healing ourselves isn't the most pleasant process. It can be downright painful. It can trigger old wounds that we've buried and send us into an emotional tailspin. But we all know that wounds can only heal once you take off the bandage, clean out the infection, and give it time to air out. It's the same with our emotions. And also with medicines, you must finish the course of treatment, otherwise the illness develops a resistance to the treatment. In other words, you gotta do the work. You gotta do all of the work. There are no shortcuts. Just because you feel better after a Reiki session or reading with a psychic, that doesn't mean you've allotted the time that it's gonna take to get to the root cause of the issue. And you just may risk it burying itself deeper in your subconscious, only to resurface with vengeance later. Medicine. What's your medicine? So I wonder, if we began changing the narrative from what do you do for work to what's your medicine? If we could indeed shift our perception to find value in what we as individuals bring to the world to make it a better place and prevent dis-ease. If we could realize that each of us has a one-of-a-kind medicine to share, would that change our perception of our personal value in our own eyes? So what's interesting is that when I initially sat down to pen this talk yesterday, I thought the talk was going to be about the word value. In fact, I'd spent the majority of the morning jotting down random thoughts on this topic until Spirit reminded me several hours and pages later about this interaction that I had months ago. So then I understood that this talk would be about value within the framework of the question, what's your medicine? So now I ask you, what's the value of your medicine? You know, value. The regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something, the value. What's the value of your medicine? As I ruminated on this question, I realized that this simple question was indeed at the root of our problems today. See, we as a society have lost the ability to see value in ourselves, in our medicine, in our thoughts, in our hopes, in our dreams, which then extends to a failure to see it in other people. And when we fail to see or refuse to see the value in someone or their very existence, there is no desire to empathize with their circumstances or their experiences. And if you can't or refuse to see when someone is hurting, how will you know to share your medicine to help them out of a state of dis-ease? Somewhere along the way, we were tricked, socialized, into believing that our value, our medicine, is to be measured by external factors, i.e., what and who it can heal, instead of the fact that it heals. There is a saying, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing it is stupid. The fish had been tricked into thinking that its real medicine, that of swimming in the water and keeping the marine ecosystem in perfect equilibrium, was of no use. And just like we know that not all medicines work for all people or all diseases, the value of your medicine is not diminished if used in the wrong way or on the wrong person or overlooked by another. This is a narrative that we must resist. Believing in your own medicine and the power that it has to heal is the key to freeing the whole world from its current state of dis-ease. Now, instead of the fish believing that it was stupid, when told to climb the tree, it would have simply taken a step back, looked at that tree up and down and said, I'm going to go back to the water where I'm needed, and thereby make space for this squirrel to come and climb the tree, harvest nuts to help nourish and regenerate the forest. In this new scenario, the fish understood and appreciated its value, its medicine. And in doing so, it was able to acknowledge and support the value, the medicine of another. So one good thing from this global pandemic, it has shifted the collective consciousness's notion of value. What is important, what is worth it, and what is useful. People are no longer comfortable or able to passively sit comfortably with the notion that skin color determines value. People are now forced to acknowledge the importance of blue-collar jobs such as grocery store clerks and gas station attendants, along with school teachers and medical personnel, instead of billion-dollar CEOs, and appreciate that these are the real backbone of our society. People are reevaluating the usefulness of spending countless hours in an office away from home when they could be at home doing the same work while saving time and traffic and money and gas. People are reflecting on the worth of their mental well-being in terms of what they're willing to do or give up in exchange to see family and friends in times of social distancing. Society's notion of value is slowly shifting. And I would say, with a glimmer of optimism, shifting towards the better. And so is my own notion. In the past few months, I've learned a lot. It's taught me that I value humanity and empathy towards my fellow human beings, whereas a surprisingly sad number of people do not. It's taught me that I value spending time with people who support and stimulate my desire to be a better human to other people and the world at large. It's taught me that I value the nuances that create who I am in this world. I get to dive into, learn and understand and appreciate all the wonderful things about myself, while cultivating spiritual growth that can be used for lifetimes to come. It's taught me that I value my space in the world and the medicine that I have to share, and that my medicine does indeed heal people of their dis-ease. But what about you? How has this year shifted your notion of value and the value that you see in others? Let's just all close our eyes for a moment and take in a collective breath and exhale to create space and clarity in our mind and our soul. And simply sit and perceive for a few moments in this space that you just created. And over those few moments, were there times that surfaced where you remembered that you had judged others by their ability to climb a tree, knowing or perhaps forgetting that they were a fish? In other words, were you able to see where you have or have not recognized value in another person's existence, experience, or medicine? Times where you fail to recognize and appreciate the value of your own medicine and your ability to help heal disease? Now close your eyes again. Take in a deep breath of self-forgiveness for all of those times. And exhale out any self-judgment. Just simply sit and receive the unconditional love from Source. And know that your soul is being made whole in this space. And allow your soul to remind you of the value of your own unique medicine. Just breathe that in. Now slowly bring your awareness back to your space. And know that there has now been a shift for you. You are now able to perceive the value of your medicine and that of others. Because that's how things work in the energetic and spiritual realm. Just like that. Without effort and always in your best and highest good. And for the highest good of humanity. So, what's your medicine? How are you going to stop or prevent dis-ease in your heart, in your mind, in your home, in your neighborhood, in your community, in your city? What's your medicine? Whatever it is, it's time to share it because the world needs it to heal. Thank you.